My name is Avery, and I'm transgender. I've been out for a little less than a year, and lately it's become hard not to notice a certain portrayal of trans people in certain media that looks something like this.
If you do not believe you are the gender you are mentally ill, right? I think that is a mental illness. I think transgenderism is a mental illness, and I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of hate for that, but that's what I believe. And
okay, but what does that have to do with the shooting?
A lot of people who are trans are actually just depressed people, and then they interpret their depression as gender confusion.
Transgenderism is a mental health disorder. We don't let you smoke a cigarette by the age of 18.
The suicide rate among trans-identified people is sky high. It remains sky high. All the data shows this. It remains sky high.
People insisting that we're all depressed or mentally ill, or even terrorists. Where does this narrative come from, and why do people continue spreading it? I reached out to a few of my friends in the community to find out why.
Right, my name is Layla Prasnik. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm a transgender woman living in Brandon, Manitoba.
Yeah. So I am a 30-year-old non-binary gender fluid person. My gender is actually a little more complex than that, but I don't really have a word for it, so that's just what I go with to simplify it.
Yeah, I'm Briar. I'm a grade 8 teacher. I play Dungeons and Dragons. I am 29 years old. I'm into video games, board games.
Why do people think we're all depressed and mentally ill?
So that comes from a lot of history of just a lot of people who fall outside of what's deemed normal to be mentally ill somehow. I mean, even being gay was considered, some sort of mental issue before. And so there's like an actual historical reason for why that is, and it's again just anyone deemed, outside of the norm.
And for people I know who are religious, for example, who are very supportive, they're the people who can take a look at their faith and question it, and then come out saying, well, I still believe what I believe, I just don't think that what I thought about this before is actually part of that belief. And I think that's important.
I think over history, trans people have existed as long as people have, really. And for a lot of that history, we've been oppressed in various ways. Whether like anything from just simple interpersonal bullying to like vast societal oppression.
A lot of it comes from a religious standpoint. Not for everyone, but for a lot of what I've seen, it comes from just this belief that is held so closely with their religious spiritual beliefs.
Why do people spread that narrative?
I've met lots of non-religious people who also kind of have this belief that, maybe trans people are mentally ill. They don't understand it. They don't want to understand it. Because it's easier to write off something that we don't understand as being wrong than it is to try and learn something new.
I don't really think it has a cogent end game in mind. All that it really cares about reinforcing, and I'm talking about the force here, not what any one particular person may be thinking, is that there is a hierarchy of people, that there are people who are on top of others, who have power, control, etc. Over other people, all relative to each other on this hierarchy.
Propaganda. It's really, like I said, it's really easy where, from a social perspective, if you can pass someone off as mentally ill, then anyone who will listen will also cling to that narrative. And when it comes to, even when it goes so far as to reach legislation and such, it's a lot easier to, I guess, make your argument if you convince the people listening.
People always want to be part of a majority group. People want to feel like they belong to something. I think that is kind of human nature. That's animal nature. You want to belong to a group. And sometimes if you're feeling like an outsider, or you're feeling like the group you belong to is being threatened or it's changing, you might do things in order to keep that group together, right? And so one of the things that we can do is say negative things or double down on these feelings against the people that we see as being invasive to the group.
So, what's the truth about trans people?
The truth is, we're the same people as any cisgender people. We've got so many of the same struggles, and like, if anything, perhaps it's our different life experience that we get put through as a result of being trans, and therefore all the like different societal oppression we face.
People weren't so willing to treat trans people as mentally ill. That probably would have made things a lot easier, even if I was dealing with, mental health issues. People love to jump to assumptions about what that means.
The truth about transgender people is we just want to live our lives without discrimination, without being harassed, without being bullied, without being a political scapegoat. That's the truth.